Hello. When you're trying to grow yourself, when you're trying to stretch yourself, improve yourself, there's always one thing you can guarantee yourself, and that's that an obstacle is going to show up. Some challenge is going to show up, and when it pops up, it's going to start talking to you. It's going to tell you stuff like you're not good enough, you don't belong here, you can't get better, you don't have the money, you don't have the contacts, you don't have the connect. What are you thinking about? Get out of here. You see, these situations, these challenges, they could be situations, they could be people, but 9 out of 10 times, the obstacle is you. No, you are the enemy at the gate. You are your worst nightmare because you're telling yourself stuff like, I can't do it. I can't finish. I'm not good enough. I don't belong here. You're feeding all that stuff. And I'm always amazed at the people who continue to feed all their limitations and then they get surprised when the limitations come home with them. You know how it is. You're going to bed, pull out on the sheets, and your limitations are right there waiting to get tucked in. You're driving to work to a job you hate, and your limitations are in the passenger seat saying, keep on driving. What are you going to do? What you want to do? You want to quit your job? You know you need this job. What are you going to do? You're not good enough to do anything else. You better keep driving, go straight, turn left, get to work. They start talking to you, start feeding all this stuff in you. You see, what I'm saying to you is that there's something else in you. There's a version of you that already has everything you want, everything you need. There's a version of you that's loved and can love back. There's a version of you that can trust again. There's a version of you that can pick yourself up, get out there and live again. You just have to discover your override. I remember I was sharing a room with a friend of mine years ago, and I'd gotten up early, about 5 in the morning, and I was doing some work, and this guy's alarm clock goes off, and it beeps, beeps, beeps. He turns it off, and I felt nothing of it. About 30 seconds later, I start hearing this deep, unsettling kind of breathing, this and I'm looking at this guy's corner of the room. It's kind of dark on his side, and I don't really know what's going on, but I'm hearing this breathing, and it goes on like that for a while. And I start getting kind of nervous. I'm like, wait a second, either this boy is dying or he's being possessed. And I'm not an exorcist, and I don't know anything about that, but I was getting kind of nervous, but I had to pull myself together. Walked over there, and still breathing, still breathing. I said, hey, man, you okay? No response. I was about to call somebody for help. Well, let me stop lying. I was about to run out the room. All right, it was getting spooky in there, but he finally responded and he said, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay." I said, "Are you sure?" Because that was weird. What was that? He said, "It's my override." I said, "You what?" He said, "My override. It's how I fight the alarm clock." He said every time the clock goes off, I start talking to myself. I start coming up with all these excuses why I can't get up. It's cold outside. Oh, maybe it's raining outside. Aren't you hungry? Oh, my big toe hurts. Everything, whatever, any excuse, I start fighting with myself. And when that happens, I turn my override on. My override kicks in. You see, on my override, it helps me get up because after I breathe, I visualize myself breathing, energy into myself so I can get up. And once I get up, all my excuses are done and I can get up. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, it's worth it to me because, I need my health. I need my energy. I need to get better because I want to get more out of life. So I've got to get up. I've got to win the fight against the clock. So I turned my override on. And I said, whoa. The override. The override is that thing that starts talking to you when you're about to sabotage yourself. Right? The override is why it's worth it for you to get up and keep going, keep moving, keep stretching. It helps you overcome that negative side of you, those conversations saying you can't do it, stay in bed, don't get up. Your override is that thing in you that you've got to turn on. You got to turn that thing on when you feel something else is threatening you, all that negative stuff. So the override, that's a very, very important concept. I think if you can get that, it can really change a lot of how you see yourself. A lot of the outcomes that you want to get can really start showing up faster if you begin to turn this thing called your override on. I think that a lot of people make the mistake of they confuse who they're letting themselves be for who they really are. And the distance between who you're letting yourself be and who you really are is your override. You've got to turn that thing on. You've got to turn it on. So what I'm saying to you is that you've got to ask yourself those questions. You've got to ask yourself, what's my override? What do you tell yourself when you're about to sabotage yourself? Right? What is in you that can kill your limitations? You see, how deep is your why? Is the question. How deep is your why? Why is it worth it to you? Why do you come back again and again and again when everybody's telling you, hey, you can't do this, you can't make it, including yourself? How do you come out of that? You see, how deep is your why? That's in your override. Right? And it's important to ask these questions about yourself because if you want to get anywhere meaningful, if you want to grow to any level, to any height, you've got to go through some level of challenge. And those challenges send a lot of people back the other way. And if you want to get to the other side, how do you deal with these challenges? How do you deal with the obstacles that really you are creating, you are feeding? How do you do that? It's in a thing called the override. Whatever it is, you can breathe as deep. You can breathe deep and sound crazy. You can sound like a demon. For all I care, if it works, it works. If it gets you up, it gets you up. That's your override. So I hope you ask yourself some of these questions. Think about it. What is your override? How deep is your why? Take that, play with that a bit, and I hope it helps out somehow. My name is Angelo, and I'm the Motivator. Thank you.